Read my lips.
I did show my scar.
I knew Thomas Jefferson.
Who am I?
I'm Gerald Ford, and you're not.
I'm not a crook.
Why am I here?
The question is whether we're going to go forward to tomorrow or we're going to go past to the back.
The duties of the office.
The duties of the office.
On which I am about to enter.
Of the office on which I'm about to enter.
Flour or chocolates. In his own words, I felt the atmosphere in Russia. I identified with them and tried to put it all into my playing.
Bush's bowling blunder happened in Milwaukee this afternoon. We are happy to report the president is fine, and he picked up his spare and his pride before leaving.
And I'm tired of being embarrassed. I feel right at home in this gymnasium.
Here's Michael Dukakis in 1988 in front of a huge crowd of supporters launching his campaign. He knows how important it is to hit the ground running. What do you say after that entrance? Hi, how are you? I meant to do that. Want to see it again? He certainly made an impression. Those steps on his lips. Raindrops kept falling on their heads as Gerald and Betty Ford arrived in Austria. And President Ford kept falling on his head, first in Salzburg in front of Austrian Chancellor Kreisky. Hi, thanks for dropping by. Then in Michigan on a trip up the same stairs.
Are you deeply hurt?
Chicken, I gotta be careful. Chicken fecal coliform bacteria.
Dumb.
I made a mistake.
Did something very stupid.
I'll make some mistakes. I admit I've made mistakes. Understand the importance of having the bondage between the parent and the child.
Now, way back when Dan was just a senator, and apparently still politically hungry, he was able to hide and chow down while others politely listened to their president. Hail to the chef. Who would have known that Dan Quayle would someday be a solid fork away from the presidency? Have you seen the Quayle quill? Of course you haven't. It's invisible. Now watch closely. When Dan is asked for his autograph, even though he says, I don't have a pen, he signs anyway with his fingers.
There is nothing that a good defense cannot beat a better offense. The ignorant mind is too often a fresh face. The ignorant mind is too often, young mind is too often something you can lose.
In the key area of civil rights, the NAACP.
Millions of innocent people lost their lives because of the bigotry and Hitlerism that permeated Germany and other parts of the world. It was an obscene period in our nation's history. No, not our nation's, but in World War II. I mean, we all lived in this century. I didn't live in this century, but in this century's history. It is a point of history that this nation, our nation, understands. We did not have, matter of fact, we fought Hitlerism.
Here Ike is asked how often Nixon is consulted for his ideas.
If you give me a week, I might think of one. I don't remember.
I welcome this kind of examination.
Chancellor and I will continue to do everything we can to make the microphones work.
If I say what I'm about to say, will it be taken wrong? I hope I stand for anti-bigotry, anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism? No way you would say that.
But also in the abundance it has brought forth in the youth.
We're trying to get unemployment to go up, and I think we're going to succeed.
A word about the president. For 7.5 years, I've worked alongside him, and I'm proud to have been his partner. And we've had triumphs. We've made some mistakes. We've had some sex.
No!
We've had some setbacks. Sometimes I feel like the... Well, I'm a country music fan. I love it, always have.
Yes, and his favorite group is the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
I said to him, you know, there's another one, that the Nitty Gritty Great Bird.
And I defy anyone to say that and chew gum at the same time.
I have the honor to give to the President of USA an instrument of sax.
The year 1881 will come. Another president of the United States will be standing here, perhaps with this small podium or an improvement, and we will be at peace with all nations in the world long before 1881. So when the year comes, the year 1881, I confidently hope, the 1981, I confidently hope, I don't think anybody was here in 1881.
This is where the Continental Congress met over 200 years ago during the American Revolution. So Lancaster was actually the capital of our nation for one day in 1977.
I want to pitch a no-hitter from now to November 5. The Brooklyn Dodgers had a no-hitter last night, and I'm going to follow what Nomo did.
It seems to me there's some confusion here, or haziness that possibly needs a lot of clarification.
And there's a lot of idiots who don't understand that.
It's politics Russian style.
I'll have another drink of that fine Irish whiskey.
For instance, this soccer team wanted to show President Reagan their ball handling skills, especially this guy. Oops, I guess this security guard was not a soccer fan. And when it's time for this little girl to go back to her mom, George Bush is ready with a push.
Okay, thanks a lot. So long. Good to see you.
Whose child?
So many of us are caught in the blur of events.
I would like to come in our three mayoral candidates, Rudolph Giuliani, Rudy.
We're very honored to be back in San Francisco. We're here for a great convention. We had a great convention. Or San Diego, sure, yeah.
I'm just waiting for one of you to come up with a robot that can give a public speech.
Just wanted to show you what the map of the United States looks like as of 8 o'clock tonight.
Hey!
It's all yours.
Now, turn your hand over and let it go. Turn your hand over and let it go. Now, jerky butt.
I'll stay here and try to learn how to use the yo-yo. You'll go up and be president.
With hindsight, it was funny. At the time, it wasn't funny. When George Bush was in Tokyo and he unfortunately got sick during a big state dinner.
Yes, while he and the First Lady attended a dinner hosted by Japanese Prime Minister Miyazawa, George leaned over near the Prime Minister's lap and hurled.
At the time, we didn't think it was that funny.
Because it looked really bad.
Yeah, it looked really bad.
And although the first pictures were disturbing, George bounced right back up and lived to bark another day.
There's no place in the world that anybody ever had a head of state play the piano while they sang a song. Would you? Anything you play, I know. Mr. President, wait a minute, Mr. President, may I speak? Mr. President, may I say one thing? I wanted to sing a song. I don't want to ride a horse.